They call gold and silver God's money. So if you're thinking of buying precious metals or switching your 401k to gold without a penalty, head on over to thegoldshow.com now. The link is in the description below.
Hello and welcome. Today we've got Danielle and Mark, and we are going to be discussing the financial economy and how inflation works and the situation today with inflation and what we must be doing to protect our finances and how to maximize our wealth. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview, unless, of course, myself, Danielle and Mark can choose our words wisely due to the insane censorship that's happening right now. Roy and Mark, thank you for Danielle and Mark, thank you for joining me. Roy is your surname, excuse me. How are you and what have you been up to? We'll go with Mark first.
Well, it's been obviously there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but we feel empowered and we're going out there and blessing as many people. We've been traveling around the country and it's just been an amazing time. So despite everything going on around us with the chaos, we're very optimistic and we're happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. And how about you, Danielle?
Same. I mean, I feel like Mark said, super hopeful. You know, I think we can either choose fear or we can choose faith, and we're living in faith. One thing that obviously it's all about empowering ourselves, getting ourselves out of these slave systems. And the monetary system is probably the biggest slave system that we're all trapped in. But when you realize through research and education that you can actually pull yourself out of it, you can't help but feel very hopeful. So we're here to educate people and let them know that there is hope out there.
Absolutely. Danielle, we were just before we click record, we were just talking about inflation and how we can show it to the viewers. A great example of a comparison of silver and the fiat currency back a few decades ago. If you can show us and give us specific numbers and dates with the note and the ounce of coin, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So first of all, fiat, which I never even knew what that word was until 2020. Here's fiat, a fake American US dollar. Back in 1965, this dollar was equal to an American eagle, which is 1 ounce of silver, both equal to $1. In fact, this still says $1 on it. Okay. Today, to show you an example, this dollar is actually worth 5 cents in purchasing power. 5 cents in purchasing power. Right? Wow. This US, you hold it, right? Silver Eagle, today in purchasing power, today we looked, is $36.
So you're saying that back in those days, if I had got, the dollar to silver ratio at that time and buried it under my garden, under the soil, and then I dug it up 20, 30, 40 years later, it would be worth so much more. And the dollar would have just declined, whereas silver would have just gone up and it would just be complete out of ratio.
100%. And, it's mind blowing to me that we aren't taught this from day one as little kids in school. I was a teacher. Why aren't we teaching our children this? We would have all invested very differently and we'd all be in a very different financial situation. But like everything else, we're learning that this information was suppressed by design, right? So, but the secret's out and now we know better.
And I'll say too, if you even go back 20 years and you take a look at if you'd gotten gold back 20 years ago, and the house that you'd be able to buy then and the house that you'd be able to buy now with the same gold that you had purchased at that time, the house would have tripled in cost from fiat currency, but it would cost you less gold to buy a house 3 times in value simply because of how gold and silver have maintained their purchasing power. And that right there is what everybody really needs to understand. This is insurance for your money.
This is called a debt slavery system. It's a scam, and it's something that they do not want to teach us at school. So this is real education. I was going to say something and I forgot. So you was going to say something, Mark, about the bill that they recently passed in respect to inflation. Do you want to explain that to us, please?
Yeah, I mean, I've really since all this stuff started happening, you know, when I really go out there and I kind of look at all sides. I try and look at both of the different sorts of media sides regarding liberal and conservative, because I really want to get a big picture and see how everything comes down. And this is politics aside. They just passed, and it's right now in the process of being voted on today, a $1.75 trillion spending bill on infrastructure that I know that a particular congressman was up doing an 8.5-hour talk against this bill because of what is going to happen to our economy. And it's not like it hasn't happened before. I mean, we just have to look back at currencies around the world. Venezuela used to be one of the wealthiest countries in the world. And then they started making decisions that just led them down a path to where they are now. To be perfectly frank with you, decisions that led them down towards socialism. And now the country is one of the brokest in the world. The banks start, it's kind of scary because we have on our side right now, we have time on our side. This bill is in the process of getting passed. We have not seen the effects of this bill. We've seen some inflation taking place, but we haven't seen the beginning of it. I mean, to sit there and say that there's not going to be any cost to this and it's going to curb inflation. If that happens, that's 100% manipulation of this right here. This is manipulated every which way that you could possibly think of. Gold and silver are not. And I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, you didn't. Sorry, I interrupted you. I was going to say that people that are not aware of inflation, they just see it as, oh, things get more expensive. But you see, most people see a dollar as a dollar. They don't actually see what's happening to the dollar. It's declining because they print more money. So we need more of those dollars to make up for the value of gold. And that's why gold is so expensive. It sustains its value. And gold and silver is real money. It's a true currency. You cannot go wrong. If XRP or Bitcoin or the property market crashes or anything like that crashes, even stocks, silver and gold is king. What do you think about that?
Well, 100%.
I agree 100%. And there's a lot of people, they try and sometimes we'll find people who want to sit there and debate the two. I think diversification is the smartest thing in the world that anybody can do, but I want something physical. I mean, who's to say? I'm not a computer genius, but people can hack into things like crazy. They're hacking into our infrastructure and shutting down electrical grids and things like that. And what happens if our electrical grid is shut down and you're dealing with something that's 100% tied into the web and things like that? Whereas we have physical gold and silver. I'm just talking about us as a population, as we go out and we educate ourselves and we equip ourselves and we prep ourselves. I never thought we'd ever have to be preppers, but we are prepping like crazy right now because this is our time. We have this financial system, everybody, that in 2008, it wasn't corrected. They just threw a bunch of money at it to basically bail out this country because the economic system was about to collapse. And all it did was buy us time to what we're seeing right now, where they are throwing so much money at everything. It's like they're bleeding the system dry until it collapses. And then what's going to end up happening is all of the masses, because it's the people who are making these decisions financially, if you think about it, they're the elites who don't have to worry about police forces. They don't have to worry about security. They're all set. They have everything that they need, and they want to create a lifestyle and really a system that they think is going to be good for the world. Well, it hasn't worked so far. So far, what we're seeing inflation where the average people can't go out there and they can't live. They can't put food on the table. I was at the supermarket the other day. The shelves were empty. I mean, it was like, what happened here? And it's crazy. And that we're going to see more and more of. We're seeing our supply chain get backed up. And I'll tell you, the biggest security that anybody can have is physical gold and silver. This here is an asset. Is we can go anywhere in the world with that, and that's going to be a money that you can use. And so people need to prepare and get educated and do it so that you know what you're doing, and then get your hands on these assets. Because trust me, everybody, and I'll just mention one last thing, Nicholas. I look at my dad, and I love my parents like crazy. But my father is so old school. And I'm saying, Dad, you should be putting some money into no, I'm good. I'm comfortable. I like it the way it is. Everybody likes it the way it is. But the change is coming, whether we like it or not. And if we're not prepared, and I even said, I'm like, Dad, what happens if all of a sudden inflation starts going up? Well, I'll just go to the bank, take out my money. Well, that's the plan everybody has. They make a run at the banks. When the government sees this, they shut down the bank. And that means everything in that bank, including safe deposit boxes, can now be taken as property of the government because now it's solvent. That bank is solvent. People say, well, I've got FDIC. That's insured by the government, which is funded by our taxes. So it's a big system that right now is a mess. And the best thing people can do is protect themselves against it.
Absolutely. Now, we know that March 2020, 650 airplanes were used to transport all of the gold from Italy, the Vatican, back to the US military because it was confiscated. Now, that just goes to show that the bad guys know exactly where the value is, and they have us believing that the real value is dollars in our bank accounts. Well, that's wrong. And also, the deep state have taken out Abraham Lincoln and JFK because they were advocates for the gold standard. And that's why they do not like our President Donald Trump. So what is the thing that you're offering to the viewers to educate them so that they can, so they can help to benefit their financial situation?
Well, that's a great question. We have a membership that gives basically so many different benefits, including access to gold and silver at some of the best prices, a digital wallet, which is the first of its kind in the world, where people can buy physical gold and silver through a digital wallet with no minimums and no maximums. But like you said, the biggest thing, though, is education, because if you have access to that and you have no idea what you're doing, then it's not going to make any difference. Danielle, you want to share what our experience was?
Yeah, I mean, we've been helping so many people because our first experience when we first became investors, we didn't know where to go. We didn't know who to trust. We didn't know what to get. And so we kind of blindly went to a local coin dealer. It was literally an exchange. We didn't get a choice in what we bought, and we left grateful to leave with gold and silver, but still didn't know any better. Fast forward, when we were introduced to this membership, what we realized was everything that was lacking in our first experience, this membership meets. So we really help to empower people so that they can become savvy as they invest and feel confident in all the decisions they're making, know what they're getting, why they're getting it, what they're going to do with what they get. And it's been amazing. We have this incredible global community now that we're working with. And it feels good to know that you're not alone, first of all, in general, but to be surrounded by people who understand and who want to empower others. It feels good. Well, and then the one thing, do you want to share that we never thought we would be into is the collectible space. This was a space that was really exclusive. Only the elites were allowed in. You had to be, part of the club to ever even know about coin collection. We know the elite have been collecting art, but they've also been collecting coins. And this membership, we actually are able to have access to some of the most beautiful coins in the world. And do you want to talk about kind of why the coin collecting?
Yeah, I mean, we've discovered that the elite, they go after, first off, unique property. That's one of their top investments. Second is fine art. And third are rare coins. And that's where it comes into play. So it just simply makes sense that, we want to get a piece of that, because a lot of people are like, well, if the economy collapses, what's going to happen then? You have people right now buying Tom Brady football cards for $13 million, and it's a piece of cardboard. And there's no value around that cardboard other than just the uniqueness and the rarity of that particular thing. that's what these collector coins bring to the table. And that's why we're having a blast doing it. You're going to share that?
Yeah, I'm going to share this because you talked about the Vatican, Italy, getting the gold. But they also recently discovered the original Roman coins, the first coins that were ever made. And so our company has actually replicated the Roman coins. They're absolutely gorgeous, high relief. That means it comes off. These are like 3D. And we've seen the value in this investment really increase. And we're not even done with the collection yet. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I don't know if you recognize this guy. Recognize that guy?
I know. I love that guy. You know, I call this a strategic membership, okay, where you're turning your fiat currency strategically into real assets, real money, God's money, silver and gold. So that way we are sustaining our wealth and not relying on the fiat currency, which is declining every single day. And we know the Democrats, they just want to print.
That's right. Let me tell you, you just said it. God's money, Satan's money.
Yeah, do you know how much symbolism is on this? I mean, there's so much symbolism hidden on a dollar bill that's really kind of evil in a sense. And I got to tell you, it's just,
you're not hiding it.
Yeah. I mean, right now we have it's an amazing system that is a complex system. And right now it's time to get back to what's always been money. And, you know, Danielle mentioned before when we went into the local dealer, I think the biggest thing that everybody needs to have is trust. You know, we've in this environment, especially in the past couple of years, our trust in other people in terms of what they might be telling us, especially from positions of authority in the government, has really diminished quite a bit. And so anything they sit there and tell me, oh, this is a good thing to do, I get a little bit leery, and I like to do a little bit of my homework too. And nothing against any local dealers or anything like that, but I getting to know and see the integrity and really the philosophies of the founders of this company and how they did this, not because they wanted to make money themselves, but they wanted to provide a platform that would allow the average person out there to now be able to give themselves a strong future and have access to gold and silver like they've never had it before. Now we can take the average stay-at-home mom who can put $20 a month in and be buying gold over time and store it in their sound money wallet and build themselves a future, something they never could do before, and with an education behind it. There's so many advantages here, and it's just a chance for us to empower. But again, time is in our favor, but the window's closing, everybody. They're passing a bill today that's going to impact us all. Not going to happen overnight, but we're going to see a gradual shift in the direction I don't feel that we really
happening here in the US, but we know what happens in the US ends up rippling across the globe. So
absolutely.
I'll just mention too, Nicholas, we can help when we talk globally. We are operating in the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Ireland, and Singapore as of now.
Absolutely. And Mark, do you want to explain how people can get in contact with you? Because I will leave a link below, but what's the process?
Yeah, well, we're going to basically go to the link, and then you can just simply fill out your contact information. We're going to send you an email, and we'd love to invite you on to just an informational Zoom. That's what we've been hoping to be able to get as many people as we can, so we can get them the information, get their questions answered, and allow them to make the decision for themselves without pressure or anything like that, because it's their choice. But that would be the process, is go to that link, fill out the info. There's going to be a special promo that we're going to put out for a raffle for anybody, because of part of Thanksgiving coming up next week. We want to put out a raffle where we literally will raffle off a Silver Eagle. Now, right now, this is about $37, but who knows if we start seeing silver go where we know that it can go, that could be a very, very valuable asset for anybody.
So Mark, are you saying that anybody that emails you just to ask questions will be automatically entered into the raffle, and you will randomly choose an email address to send one of those silver ounces to?
Yes. And we will even film it ourselves. So, and then maybe play it on the next time that we're on so people can see that it was legit. But yeah, we're happy to do that because we want people to experience it. Holding this is such... I've never held it before.
Magical.
When you hold it, it's an amazing feeling, and you feel empowered people need to feel in control right now. They need to feel confident. We can help. And as a community, we can go out there and really protect ourselves together.
I just want to let the viewers know on my behalf that I know Danielle and Mark very well. I've worked with them for almost a year now, and I vouch for them very much. I love their work. They're educating everybody, as many people as they can, on silver and gold. And if you're interested in increasing and benefiting your financial status and knowing more about silver and gold, because the dollar is so corrupt, please do contact them. I really do vouch for them. So guys, thank you very much. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish? Danielle, we'll go with you first.
I just want to say, no matter what's going on around you, just stay in your faith, stay out of fear. Know that there is something you can do. You can empower yourself, and we're here to help. I always say, my friend always says, community is immunity, and get yourself financially set. That will also boost your immune system, and look forward to connecting.
And Mark, over to you.
Yeah. And what I would say is we will be sending an email to anybody who replies. So please look in your spam folder if you don't see it, because sometimes it might just go there. But I would just tell everybody this. I mean, the biggest thing that everybody wants to do is they want to be able to just really prep their family without feeling coerced or their arm twisted. They want to do it because they are educated and they know what they're doing. And right now, everybody, we need to be proactive to go out there and educate ourselves, because the people who are making the decisions don't want us to be educated. They want us to be in the position where we are slaves to the system and under their control. And this is a way that we can take back our control. First with education, but then access, which is what you can get.
One more quick question, Mark. How many people have you helped in this and they are very happy?
We've had over 1,000 come on board with this membership. We have not had anybody complaining. They've been using the benefits, because some people come in, they don't understand what they're doing initially. They're like, okay, how do I buy this? And get them onto the education. People have been saving money like they've never been saving before. I can't make obviously any predictions as to what's happening. And obviously I can't tell you what the collector coins are doing, but we're seeing people who are seeing their net worth appreciate and their confidence grow and their knowledge increase. And I'll tell you, when you see people be empowered like that, and that's 1,000 just from us communicating with them. That's not even the chain effect after that.
And I just have to say, one of the things we're talking to people who have not been able to freely speak for a year and a half. We're the first conversation where they can say what they really think and feel, because they feel alone. They don't have people around them. So for me, that really touches my heart. And so obviously if we can help them with this as well, that's just a blessing. So.
And the benefits that they're coming out with down the road are even better. And it's blessing so many. So thank you for giving us this platform to share.
Yes, Nicholas. Thank you. We love you.
We love you too. Thank you. And Danielle, Mark, thank you. And we'll speak very soon. God bless you. Bye-bye.
God bless you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.